Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So this begins part 2 of our surface gauge repair, or maybe not a repair, but missing parts and building the part that was missing. I did some research on these two surface gauges. They are, in fact, both of them are Starrett's. This one, the one that had the missing part, was a Model 57, and the other one was the Model 257. Now, why they make two, I'm not really sure. This one looks cast and machined. This one looks, I guess just machined out of a solid hunk and blued. Whereas this one's painted. Or some kind of enamel coating is on it. And it does have some, obviously it has some reference surfaces which are ground and polished. So, one thing I wasn't aware of, how you spell a gauge in this instant is G-A-G-E versus how I spelled the G-A-U-G-E. But anyway, in this portion of or part 2 of this video, we're going to go ahead and create this outer barrel that's missing off of this, this surface gauge. And we're just going to get it all fitted up so we can insert it and everything works and it tightens. And I've noticed that this became a little bit of a longer video, and I apologize for that. I really am still learning my video editing software, and quite honestly, at about 1 o'clock this morning, I just figured out how to break clips down into smaller sections so I can go ahead and speed up the machining, the turning, but yet still leave any audio that I had, that I was describing what I was doing, speeds and feeds, particular nominal dimensions that I was looking to turn to, measuring with the calipers. I can leave that at normal speed. So please bear with me. I apologize for that. Like I said, this is a pretty steep learning curve for me. I've never ever used videos editing software, so I'm just trying to get the hang of it. But I think you'll find an improved video in this one. And also I bought a couple accessories for my video camera. I have an HDMI out on my camera now, and I have that hooked up to a small monitor so I can kind of see if I'm in focus better. Also, if my if everything's in frame. A couple times I did some shooting that I really didn't capture everything that I was doing. I couldn't really see what I was actually filming. So hopefully that's improved as well. So anyway, please stick with me. We're going to get back to the lathe, and we're going to start turning the outer barrel again, and hopefully we'll have almost the entire thing done by the end of this video. So again, thanks for watching, and let's go to the lathe. Okay, so the closest drill bit I have is 480 thousandths. I do have a 1/2 inch drill, but I'm afraid that would be just right at the limit, so I think I'll just use this bit, and then I'll kind of use the what do you call the boring bar to finish it off. Wish I had a stubby bit. I'd be more rigid, but this is all I got. Try to get in as close as I can. And we can always drill further in than we need to and just face the end off if it's too deep. I think the only difference here is this point. Hope we're focused here. That point, I'm sure, is yeah. The point is a lot sharper. The inside is quite flat. Let's get a marker and see how deep we are. Maybe we'll see this or not. Oh yeah. A little bit more. Tight fit. Let's see where we're at. Well, we're pretty much there. I don't think we could take much more off. Let's kind of see what kind of depth we have here. Just to get an idea how far we can actually go. $875, and that looks just about where we were. So at the very most, all I really want to do is flatten the bottom out a little bit. Part of the surface gauge and see if it fits. So we're just going to see if this fits now, and if it doesn't, we're just going to take a couple really easy passes, or one easy pass, and then retest it. Because she's, it looks like she's right on where I had it before, so. Alright guys, so it's just a matter of getting the inside nice. So I'm just going to take a baby cut, fit it, take another baby cut, fit it. I'm going to increase the RPMs so we can try to get a decent finish, and we'll go from there. the chips in there. It's a pretty nice fit. Let's see if we can get the, without knocking everything over. And we'll just go around this way here. Trying to get around the camera and such. I kind of feel like we have to go deeper. We have the right dimension, just deeper. We can always shorten it, but we can't make it longer. You're going to have to drill it deeper. If I can get my... I like to move it. I like to do this without losing my setting here. I think I could do that. We're not hitting the drill. Okay, here we go. And before we do that, let's just reduce the speed. Well, that's probably what it was. Alright, well, definitely deep enough now. I might have some thermodynamics on my side. It might shrink a little bit as it cools. That's a pretty good fit. Let's see. Let me find that other piece and see where I'm going to cut this off. So I know this one wants to be longer. I'm going to cut it off back here, I think. Right towards the end. We'll flip it around. We'll put a little chamfer on it. And we'll take it over to Bridgeport and cut the slot in it. Let's see how that goes. Okay, and she's off. Alright guys, now we have it flipped over in another collet, and we're going to go ahead and face it off, and we're going to drill this small hole well, yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. We could drill a small hole, probably the same diameter as this, and that way when we put it in the Bridgeport, we can kind of center right on that hole, and then we could just change the center out to a little cutter, and then we can cut the slot across the face. So that might be a good idea, and we're going to try to chamfer this off as well. So let's face it off and see how it goes. Okay, well, this is what we're going to work on next. So I think we'll just indicate off of this hole, put this in a collet block in the mill, and we'll cut the slot, and then we'll see how deep. I don't think we're very deep, because we already got a hole there, so we might be able to hit this right on the money. Let me get us over to the mill, and we'll be back. Alright guys, so we're at the Bridgeport. We have our collet block set up. Bought this collet block. This is one of the first pieces of tooling I ever bought, probably 35 years ago. Not too much use out of it, but nevertheless, it's got a little surface rust on it from sitting. So what I did was, before I even put it on the mill, I cleaned the mill table down perfectly clean. Wiped it with my hand, put some light oil on it, and then I went ahead and I kind of had a couple little spots of rust on the bottom of the collet block. So I wiped all that down with isopropyl alcohol, and then I took a very fine bench stone and I just went over it just to make sure there was no burrs or anything, because it's been kind of kicking around. And now we have our part. We're still going to have to center this and everything, but how the collet block works is there's an internal thread here. So you just, I know it's easier to do it without having the block on the table, but now when you get it close, there's a bunch of pinholes in here, so you just go ahead and tighten it down until you get it where it's just about snug, or where it's flush with this with the rest of the block. And then once you get it to that point, you use the lever. So we'll put our part in, and we'll just push the handle, and she's in there now. I might go ahead and try to get it one or two more turns on it, just to get a little extra bit of snugness on it. But there you go. Now, realistically, we're not really worrying about. I mean, the table is trammed in, and from left to right, we're good. You know, I did all that with the head and the table and everything. But we're only going to take one straight cut across the x-axis. So it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and look at the part and see what the thickness is and see what kind of a mill I have. And then I'm probably going to center, probably right on this hole here. I could probably even find a drill bit that size and get this drill chuck right centered. Or I can even use my wiggler. But we're gonna do that next. So let me get set up with that, and then we'll be there. All right, guys, we're back at the Bridgeport. I had a 1/8 drill, and that seemed to center up properly with the hole. I was able to align the X and Y. I zeroed out my DRO, and now we're going to go ahead and cut the slot. The slot needs to be 100 thousandths deep. It needs to be 183 thousandths in width. Closest I had is a 4mm carbide end mill. Now, I don't have any 4mm collets, unfortunately. So, and I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to use the Jacobs drill chuck to cut this. I'm going to take light passes, nothing crazy. So hopefully it'll be okay. And of course, the 4mm end mill is let's see, that's not 183 wide. That's 155 thousandths in width. So we're going to have to move our table a little bit forward and backward so we can get the width. But our DRO again is zeroed. I'm going to try to get this end mill up there close as possible so we don't have too much flexing. And I think we can actually bring the table. We can bring the table up so we can keep our quill close to. Alright, here we go. Now I don't have unfortunately I don't have a Z DRO for my Z. And I'm really not sure what a good way to measure this. Of course, my arms are going to get in the way for this shot. So I'm just going to use, I guess I'm just going to use the scale on the Bridgeport itself. Hopefully that'll be close enough. And we'll take some baby cuts just so. Well, actually, I can use the scale on the knee. I'll just bring the knee up a little bit. But again, we're just going to take some very light cuts. We're not going to go crazy on this because we don't want to put too much strain on here, on this tool. And let me fire this up and here we go. Okay guys, so I disappeared for a second there. I wanted to figure out or calculate how much I had to move the Y back and forth to get the width proper. So sure enough, it's if the bit is 155 thousandth, I need to go to 183. That means I have a difference of 28 thousandths I need to make up. So I'm going to move the Y 14 forward and 14 back. So again, we're going to use the knee to move up and down our 100 thousandths, and we're just going to take it slow and see how we go. Okay, now our slot should be the proper dimension. Just clean it off a little bit. See if it fits, and it fits perfect. Excellent. Okay, that's the end of that operation. Now we're going to take it out of the collet block. You know, heaven forbid we needed to cut it again. You know, we could just kind of indicate our slot for to make sure we have it parallel to the x-axis. So, but that's good. Yep. And of course our part fell in the collet, so that's not a big deal. We're just going to take the collet block off to get it, and we need to do that anyway, so I think we're done with that. Okay, let me put this on the workbench. Now let's see how our part looks. Our part looks pretty good. And it looks like there's enough material there to hold it. And let's see how it slides in. There's a slight problem there. It's not popping through. I think we might have to widen that hole a little bit. Even though it went in from the top. Interesting. I might just hit it with the file. Now, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it back in there and re-indicate it. I want to make it right. Okay, let me get this set back up, guys, and I'm going to bring you back. Alright guys, so this is the conclusion of part 2 of our Starrett gauge repair, and as you can see, this is how far I've gotten. The barrel fits nicely, perfectly. It fits inside the gauge properly. Let's finish the assembly. The keyed washer here goes on good. Outside washer, spring, and finger wheel. There you go, they all go together. So now it's just a matter of finalizing the length. We're going to cut this down to match the end of the barrel, similar to our other gauge. We'll just have a little bit. It'll be a little bit proud. That's an aesthetic feature, though. That doesn't mean anything. The key, which we'll I guess figure out how to do, it would be to locate the outer holes in the outer barrel to match up the holes of the inner barrel. So, you know, when we pull this, we loosen this knob, push it in, so we get some kind of play in here. When we tighten it up, it will clamp on the extension. So, thanks for watching. Please stick with me for part 3 of the video. I'll be posting it up in a couple days, and hope you guys are having a great day, and hope you guys are making something in your shop. Thanks.